Hello there, FromSoft Sexuals. It is I, Elder Tree. Today I'm gonna be explaining the lore of why the rings turn toward the Elder. The reason is because Ninja Blade was freaking crazy.
This is fucking crazy! No, I messed it up!
Before FromSoft struck gold and changed the kind of action games everyone was gonna make, they had tried their hand at making the action games everyone else was making. The product would be known as Ninja Blade, and I still don't really know how to feel about it. From the jump, what popped out at me the most was the difficulty options. Like, come on, really? QuickTime events have their own difficulty? I'd say making that a setting is earned though. QuickTime events are a huge part of this game. Whether or not you'll enjoy their inclusion depends on you, but for what it's worth, I'll try to argue for them in this game's case. Most of the time you'll see QuickTime events would be like in some action sequence, and Ninja Blade has the decency of giving us this shot as the warning sign to pick up the controller. Oftentimes these sequences would be placed at the end of a boss fight. The animations here are really damn good, and I could look past its 2009 age. So what I'm getting at is that these are nice ways to still show the player something, but make getting the whole QuickTime sequence correct feel like something worth doing so that all the stylish animations play out properly. The punishment for missing the button prompt is watching everything rewind. Yeah, it feels like a slap in the face, but I think that's the point. I notice I find myself feeling some sense of reward watching the sequences play out flawlessly. So for this game, and just because of how much they use them, sure, keep the QuickTime events. Just don't put them in every game, not every game needs them. QuickTime rambling out the way, usually I try to get a feel for how to play a game by throwing that difficulty up. This being an action game, I thought I'd be alright and ready for Impossible mode. I was not. In Impossible, everything just gets way too much health. Stage mini-bosses turn into this patient test of hell where you find yourself repeating phases over and over just praying you could do enough damage. So I downgraded to hard and everything went a lot smoother. The first mission is such a banger. We are introduced to the world status as it's being infected by carriers and this virus, and let me tell you, I barely paid attention due to how glitchy the game is on PC. But this cool ninja guy we play as is doing cool cutscene stuff, so I'm invested enough. The whole game takes place in this city environment, and I kinda like how heavily they leaned in on it. Like we really get to see the city, you know what I'm saying? I like when games do that for their environments. We blast around plenty of buildings, weaving in and out of danger. It's pretty cool. Now controls wise, we're left with a lot to desire. In battle, this game shows a large amount of clunk. With no lock-on feature, getting some moves to land is a shot in the dark. The dash kinda just works when it feels like it, and some moves straight up just do not work at all. You'll find that your basic moves work consistently and won't really try to experiment with the moves that you learn later on, since they just either end up sucking ass or having the worst trigger inputs ever. Like, why do later moves involve using the block button? That makes it damn near impossible to jump away from danger and then use the move because my guy just sits there blocking instead. Out of combat, we are given a pretty damn detailed environment to ninja around in. Luckily, we have ninja vision to tell us what walls we can run up or across. I feel like some gamers these days would hate ninja vision, but I'm very thankful for it. I know there's this whole argument with the yellow paint going on, like, oh, game design is not telling us where we should be going. But you know what, listen, look at all this shit. I don't want to like run around in the action game trying to figure out where to go next. So yeah, I'll take my yellow paint here. For the most part, I kind of like the movement thanks to the ninja run. This intense animation with your controller rumbling hits different during the hype action sequence. The only thing that kinda sucks is the wall run. I can never be confident in it working the same way I could be in something like Ninja Gaiden Black. Sometimes I snap low on walls and can't make the run. Just all sorts of weird shit happen to me while I'm using this move. The ninjutsu are also kinda lame. Their best application is getting rid of obstacles. The wind one is the best though, since it comes with a nice get off me move that you can spam. They all have this mode where you go all third person shooter to aim and get rid of obstacles in the environment. The fire one locks you in place for a long ass time after using it. It's my least favorite one. And the electric one I hardly really found any use for. The alternate weapons on the other hand are pretty damn cool. Aside from having different attacks, you also need to switch to them for clearing out some environmental obstacles. The switch is on the fly and it feels good using them. The best weapon by far, however, though, is the heavy sword. It breaks armor and it just does a shit ton of damage. I ended up spamming it the most and upgrading it the fastest just to get my cheese moves out of the way and just, sort of blaze through the game. Also, this right here is where I knew I at least had to finish this game. The boss finishers are some of my favorite parts of the game. This shit gets my dick hard, okay? I like these QuickTime events. Then the mission ends off with our friend and father betraying us. I also forgot to mention this earlier, so I'm gonna just stick this here. Sadly, this game was meant to be played at 30 FPS. It's such a shame too because I think it looks quite nice at 60, but setting it up to 60 FPS fucks up a lot of stuff in the game. Scenes won't load, bosses won't progress properly, QuickTime actions won't work. It's so sad, really. Mission 2 starts with a damn turret section. Yeah, that's right, we're in 2009, I forgot. Ninja Blade overuses the hell out of these, and I'm not gonna lie, not once did I really enjoy myself. I feel these ended up being so pointless because the length of the game is already short, so why even pad it out? With only 9 missions, I don't really see the need for these. Mission 2 also introduces us to invisible attacks from this boss fight. These are easy as hell to evade, you can see them more clearly with the ninja vision, but I feel you're best off just trying to jump off a feeling, because if you take damage in ninja vision, you get extra damage put on you, so fuck that. This boss also has a really annoying retreat strategy where it forces you into a QuickTime event. This is an example of shitty implementation. The fact that it can even happen, or just repeat more than once or twice is kinda crazy too. It just draws out the length of the fight for no good reason. We just run around fighting snails in this mission. A helicopter here with a nice little QuickTime event sequence. I get so damn hyped when I see the Todome chants appear over a boss's head. It's so cool. One thing that we get a lot out of with the fucking city environments are these mid-air fights. We are not touching the ground at all for this mission. It's just cool stuff to look at. Mission 3 starts with another turret section! This time around we're chasing these two down. They have a really cool design, but before that we need to fight this crab in a tunnel. The song that plays during this fight gets used a lot, but this part right here will just always stick with me. It just plays at all the hype moments. It's gonna be in my head for the rest of my life. Yeah, the finisher on this crab is a banger, by the way. Motorcycles in tunnels are never not cool, but here they just redefine cool. Some rooftop chasing and enemies later, and we fight the first half. I like how he just dies after saying he'll finish the job. The second half more so just relies on you hitting range attacks back at her. Before killing the lady, it is revealed to us that this infection takes over the mind, but the hosts are somewhat aware that they're being unwillingly controlled. So this infection itself is basically the main villain. Overall, pretty fun mission if we ignore the start. Mission 4 is our halfway mark, and it starts with a turret section. Yes, girlies, we're not done yet. This time around we get to take to the skies, and this mission gets so much cooler on land, so let's just skip to that. The mission takes place on an airplane, and it's this hectic ass balancing act of keeping enemies off the wings of the plane to keep it in the air. There's bugs and carriers all over the place, but on top of that, a fucking Hydra is chasing the plane too, cause he's hungry or some shit, so now we gotta worry about all of his fucking heads, while enemies are harassing us constantly. The claustrophobia that this mission induces is so badass. Not a lot of places to run, and so much shit that needs to be hit. The icing on the cake is this ending sequence that feels like this game's attempt at the Spider-Man train scene. The struggle to stop the plane is cool as hell with the QuickTime events though. It's also nice to see our character be a hero too. Wow, what a cool guy. Mission 5 is the worst one by far. Like, if there's like a shit part of the game, this is it. The name of the game for this mission had to have been padding. Hear me out. Here, our friend who betrayed us reveals that he's got bombs in the city, and the bombs are these mini-bosses that you have to beat within a time limit. The time limit is pretty generous up until the end of the mission. We'll get there. A plus side to this mission before we begin is a change of environment. I don't necessarily hate all this underground cave stuff, I just would have preferred a better mission. So we are tasked with hunting down this mini-boss twice. The blast mites are just annoying because this tracking shockwave attack can stun lock the shit out of you. You also gotta break their armor first, so have fun with slow moves if you didn't use the heavy sword the whole game for some reason. It's just this boring game of waiting for them to stop their attack, and they said, yeah, make him fight that shit twice. Now the real kicker, the boss fight here. What the hell were they thinking with this shit? Stalker larva, blows balls, sucks cock, swallows swords, all the above, you get the gist. So get this, on a time limit, you have to fight a boss that only lets you hit it when it feels like it's allowed to get hit. This is the meanest shit in this game. In hard, this fight already takes a bit. The only way to do decent damage is to hit the bombs back at them. Thing is, they explode after a few seconds. You see where I'm going with this? You could get down to a situation where you just need the thing to blow up but get fucked up by the time limit. On top of that, he has this awesome tornado move that protects him from everything that he would just sometimes spam to stall for some time, because why the fuck not? The second way to hit him is with the flame ninjutsu, but it fucking sucks too. For just a little more damage, we have to face the punishment of being forced to stand still for about 1,000 years after launching the move. This boss just sucks ass, and I'm not even satisfied with the finisher. I was just so over this mission because of this damn boss. Fuck Mission 5. Mission 6 thankfully ends up picking up the slack. Here we have a hostage situation, and we run through this building killing shit till we fight this fly. This is where I found my favorite move in the game. This shit where I freeze and slam down on him? Yeah, that's called ball knowledge. After fucking up the mosquito, we get taken into an emotional fight. Well, not really. The game plays it up to be emotional, but this is just one of the guys in Mission 1 that we didn't really know. It's a cool enough fight though. I like this setting and it being ex-ninjas that we fight now. For some reason, the president, or rather our mission leader or whatever, he just grows some balls and starts throwing hands. I love this shit, and now that's a leader right there. After that is a cool fight with our traitor friend. He splits into 3, but our hitboxes are just too damn big for him, man. The finisher on this guy is cool as hell. He even tries to take us out afterwards. A scene like this gets enhanced by QuickTime events, especially while they argue and fight at the same time. Helps pace it better and keeps you distracted long enough to not really ask why they pause to talk mid-fight. Mission 7 takes us back to our roots. They just couldn't resist, you feel me? Another third section for the boys. So yeah, after that, we lose our ninjutsu and have to retrieve him. The ninjutsu are just like the elemental moves, don't know if I mentioned that earlier. This mission is fine. The game tries to play with more open design here, I think. Like the level is still linear, it just isn't designed that way. There's more trust in the player to figure out where to go, and man, I fucking broke that trust. Whoops. It's still all good though. To get our ninjutsu, we gotta do a lot of moving around in the environment, and you know, I appreciate doing that. I feel like a ninja. Then we fight bosses we fought before, cause why not? They aren't really challenging or anything, just kinda there really. For some reason, even the mission ends with a refight. It's not like we fought these guys like a long time ago or something. Like this game's only like 7 hours. Like why are you doing all this refight shit? Not with the short games. Come on, buddy. Overall, like the mission is still fun. Aside from the refights, these more open areas and just traversing around the area and all that was, you know, it was all fun. Mission 8 is the semi-final. Ooh. This mission feels like it's the real final mission, because it's just a boss fight, and it also feels like the real final boss. Like this is better than what's coming next. The action is cranked up to 11 and we get to fight our dear old dad. We get a grand tour of the city throughout this mission, as this fight is just going all over the place. Here it is revealed that we can finally wield the ninja blade. This adds a mechanic that gives enemies a second layer of armor. Some armor can only be broken using the ninja blade, and it deals damage to you if you use it too much. I'm pretty mixed on this mechanic, because it's cool that I got something else to do other than spamming the heavy sword, but the regular sword has just become less appealing due to this new punishment that I'm receiving just for using the damn thing. So you know, it's like we gained something then lost something, sorta. I mean, it's the end of the game, so whatever. The last phase of this fight kicked my ass, I'm not gonna lie. These clones mixed with the crackheadery that is the hitbox of this electric shit gave me a run for my money. Hardest part of the game. Yeah, just this final phase right here. Hardest part. After a fight, Papa gets eaten. Then we get to mission 9, and it's the final mission. And guess what? That's right, bitch. We're sending you off properly with yet another turret section. At least this one, you know, like the city looks more fucked now. So our dad becomes the big bad giant samurai, and we must rooftop climb to fight him a couple times. I don't even think I could judge this fight. This shit glitched out on me like 50 times. The game starts falling apart crazy here. I do like that in order to get your finisher off, you gotta wall jump off his sword. You know, that's some real ninja shit right there. But yeah, due to the glitches and friends, I don't really like this fight. I wasn't even given a fair shot to judge it. It was more of a stressful fight because I'm just hoping that it doesn't glitch out like before I kill him. The final fight is a 1v1 in this cool ass arena littered by swords. He's got some good camouflage here, but it's an easy one as well. After that, there you have it. Credits roll. Ninja Blade is a weird game for me. Its action gameplay isn't really all that good. The ninja movement is beaten out by other games. And then the story is kinda nothing. The game glitches out constantly and can even get put into unplayable states. But the spectacle's on another level, man. The spectacle is your reward in Ninja Blade, and I feel like that's its defining trait. Like, if there's one thing that I'm gonna walk away with is Ninja Blade was that spectacle game. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that it hands you that reward rather nicely. It's a good turn your brain off kind of game, and a nice change of pace if you just want to kick back and look at some cool shit on your screen. Just remember, the spectacle is your reward.